Good morning. This morning, what briefly I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn from foolishness and turn it into wisdom. King Solomon said, I have learned wisdom from those who don't have. So what I'm going to say, they may not work for you, but if and when you will spend some time in groups, you will have opportunity to learn from each other, reflecting on how we can use pulpit or our sacred spaces for our parishioners and people in our community to understand the importance of engaging with the politics and engaging well, listening what's going on in the media and responding well and reflecting well. Why it is so important. Politics is not inherently a bad thing. It is a good thing. Sometimes political leaders or politicians, they say things which they don't believe. Sometimes they say things which they don't know. Sometimes they say things which they really don't want it to happen. It's not only apply on politicians, it can apply on theologians, it can apply on Christian leaders too. Sometimes we say things, we don't know what we are saying. We only say because it is a copy and paste sort of thing. So what happens, sometimes we know that we know. Sometimes we don't know what we know. Sometimes we tell to people we know, but actually we don't know. There are different sorts of people in the church and outside the church, in the wider community, who know, who don't know, who think they don't know, who think they know, and this is all a mess up. And our responsibility as Christian leaders, as pastors, ministers, vicars, ministry area leaders, bishops, our responsibility is to help those who know that they need to be bold enough to go and tell to those who don't know. And those who don't know, help them to understand the importance of knowing. Because if you believe, and I personally rightly believe, I know the truth. If you know the truth, whose responsibility is to stand up, say quietly, gently, by using the power of the word, or through your actions, to tell to the world, I know, or we know, what we know. This is what I'm going to discuss with you. In the Old Testament, we learn people like Joseph, people like Daniel. They participated in the institutions or the structural body of the state, helped the monarchs, kings, emperors, save the nations, use their intelligence, gifts, the talent God had given them. Jesus himself was not a leader of a political party, but he very directly spoke about the political norms and the religious culture of his time. Jesus was not a political leader, as I said. Even he was asked very plainly, explicitly, are you the king? And he said, yes, I am, but my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom was of this world, my disciples, my followers, they'd be working like an army and establishing a kingdom. But my kingdom is not of this world. But he talked about frequently, like a king can speak about his kingdom. Most frequently, any person in the Old Testament or in the New Testament, any prophet that used the word kingdom was Jesus himself. He unfolded the kingdom of God. Missio Dei, God's mission, in short stories, in parables, by picking each and every example one can imagine, just so that people can understand what the kingdom of God is. Kingdom of God is here, kingdom of God is there, kingdom of God is among us. Basically, you are in the kingdom of God. And who I am, why I am talking about these things? Because I am king. And my kingdom is not of this world. Jesus did not say, but he meant, my kingdom is for this world. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has sent me to preach the good news to the poor. telling to people how important it is for them to think about kingdom of God. Because Jesus was not in our time. If he is speaking today, he will talk about July the 4th. July the 4th. He will be talking about the upcoming election. He will be talking about these things. Because why? Because he is concerned about you and I. He is concerned about God's creation. Because he came to preach the good news to the poor. Why? Because he said, blessed are the poor. He did not say, but he meant, blessed are those who are brief in their talks. Because brevity will be rewarded in the heavens. So when Jesus said all these things, he was engaging with the structure and systems of his time. He was engaging confidently as a young man at the age of 30, speaking to the authorities, telling them what needs to be done and how you can do it by bringing those people in who are on the fringes of the society. When he turned the tables of money changers, yes, it's a threat for the money changers. Yes. When he turned down their tables, that was taken directly as a sort of a intervention in the political and economical system of temple and the areas around temple. But he did that. Of course, he paid the price, but he did that. Why? Because he came for these reasons. So I'm just making these points because you all know, but just I want to reaffirm that engaging with political systems is not only important, it is part of the call of the church. How important it is. If we won't engage, what will happen? I will bring it back at the end of my talk. There are various scriptural verses, for example, Romans chapter 13, Matthew 20, in 1 Timothy, where we see St. Paul, Jesus himself, they are urging how important for us is to pray for those who are in authority. It's not always the people who are in authority, they are right, that's why we should pray for them. They may not be right. But how they will listen to God if we want to pray for them. For that reason, prayer is significantly important. Helping them, if you have wisdom, if you have something to share with them, why don't you share with them? But it doesn't mean you become part of the political structure by becoming a prime minister or president or MP or something like that. So we have a call and we have opportunity to engage with politics. Many theologians in last many decades, they have written, they have produced wonderful material how and why the church and Christian should engage with politics. Dr. Owen Williams' famous book, Faith on the Public Sphere, is so profound, give wonderful reflections, meditations for us as people who are serving the Lord, how we can engage and what are the issues we can engage with. Justin Welby's book, Reimagining Britain, Foundation for Hope, is a wonderful book. Again, it helps why it is important and how we can engage with. But this morning, I'm going to mention briefly one of the famous and very influential Archbishop of Canterbury's William Temple. I'm going to quote a few things from his book, Christianity and the Social Order, which was written after the Second World War. In his book, or booklet, he talked about how we need to engage with politics to change and challenge and transform the world we live in. 4 points he mentioned in his book. Number 1, sympathy for those who are poor. The context in which people live shapes their lives. The political context or economical context affects people's values, and the churches have a concern with people's lives and their values. Number 3, Christianity is committed to justice, which translates into political equality. Number 4, no activity is outside the love of God. all are part of God's natural order. One of the famous definitions of the church is his definition. Church is the only cooperative society which works for its non-members. He was so profound. He helped for all these things. Christians in Britain, in Wales, Christians in other parts of the world, but I'm mainly talking about England and Wales or Britain. But the challenge is, you and I, by using the power of the pulpit, can encourage people by using the power of counseling, mentoring, being spiritual guide of our parishioners, politicians, young people. But the role of the pulpit and the role of the church has always been crucial. Britain is different and unique in many ways because of the presence of Lord's Spiritual in the Parliament. 26 bishops. But they have played a role and still they are playing. It doesn't matter if people listen to you or not. Church still matter. But there are two sorts of Christian voters, those who are practicing Christians and those who are nominal Christians. I'm not making any analysis for those who are nominal Christians, which party they will vote, and those who are practicing Christians or think which party they will vote for. I'm not going that route. But I'm just telling you, different think tanks in the United Kingdom, they feel and they very strongly feel church really matters, or Christian leaders, they can influence, they can help people to make right decisions. Then church's role in the civic life. Though in Wales we are disestablished, but sometimes I think we are not. We act like an established church. People are confused. I'm talking about those in other parts of the world. But they know that the church in the United Kingdom or the Anglican Church in the UK, because it carries historical weight. Whenever there is a Christian persecution, either in Palestine or in Egypt or in Pakistan or in India, people send emails to the bishops. Can you please make a statement? Because whatever Bishop Doran will say, for them it matters. But there are people who still feel we are living in a Christian country. And that is where our role becomes more crucial. The Anglican Church represents more than 165 billion people in 164 countries in the world. It's quite significant. So how we can use this influence? We can't use this influence only just by being Diocese of St. David's in our small area or a local parish. Yes, but if we are connected with our neighbors, with our friends, locally, nationally, and internationally, then definitely we can create much more better influence, especially when it comes to the matter to speak to the authorities, why it is important. Like, for example, save the planet. Why it is important. It doesn't matter what your faith background is. You believe in God or you don't believe in God. You believe in creation theory or you don't believe in creation theory. But you are talking about the earth, Mother Earth, the planet. And how we as people of faith, how we as Anglicans, how we as Christians can be more proactive in helping the world to be seen that we are there and we matter. People matter. Places matter. Faiths or faith matter. But in this election, if we make a case, yes, Christianity or the Christian faith matter, there will be much bigger achievement which we can use and which we can do.